This episode is brought to you by Red Riding Hood, the manga-inspired take on the classic fairy tale for readers grades K through 2, written by Christina Oxtra. In Red Riding Hood, readers review the classic story in a brand new way, with twists in the story, more diverse characters, and featuring Japanese aesthetics incorporated throughout. Red Riding Hood is part of a series published by Capstone and written by various artists with unique takes on your childhood favorites. Look out for Red Riding Hood, available on Amazon and your local bookstores. Congratulations, Christina, on your first published book. The link is in the show description. Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Pow Block, episode 209. I am one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is that retro code, Eddie V.
.mu, peace, make bad dudes remake. Hello everybody.
My mic was muted. Whoops.
Oh, I was like, oh no.
I was just saying nobody wants a Bad Dudes remake. Nobody wants a Bad Dudes remake.
I think Ed muted you, actually. I think that was intentional.
Well, thanks, Ed. You ruined the show. You're fired.
What happened? I blocked out. What happened?
Joining us, as always, is the wonderful Celeste Roberts.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy, and I hope that this second hurricane heading our way is not destructive.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a concern for... Well, I almost said concern that you weren't going to make it tonight, but that sounds terrible. Concern of, like, you were unable to make it because you were in danger, which would have been terrifying. So I'm glad you're not in danger. So also joining us, special guest, I think it's safe to say an indie Switch guru, we're going to call you. We'll find out if that's true sooner or later. But
oh gosh,
Dan Murphy.
Pressure.
Yay!
How are you, Dan?
Good. Thank you for having me, guys.
How do people know you on the internet? Should people know you? Should people find you?
No.
Do you want people to follow you? No.
I mean,
Nobody.
Nobody should really know me. On Twitter, I'm at DCD99. I just, for gaming, I like to follow a few podcasts like you guys, and just really try to enjoy myself with it. So I'm just a regular guy.
Just regular guy, Dan Murphy.
Yep, regular guy.
I went to Dan's Animal Crossing Island. It is something else.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
It is beautiful, and I can only imagine what you've done to it since then.
Can I just hire you guys to come clean up my Animal Crossing Island and just pick all the weeds and all the bushes and stuff? Because
it's somewhat cathartic just picking weeds in Animal Crossing for some reason.
But not in real life when it's hot.
No, not at all.
I mean,
that's why I said in Animal Crossing.
I feel like I need to just try it again, because I think I started the game at the worst time where like the Easter event was going on, and every time I would pick up a rock or shake a tree, it would just be an egg that fell out, and I was just like, I need to progress through this game. You're giving me too many things I don't want or need. And that scary rabbit is just like, it looked like a rejected Chuck E. Cheese character, but more like from like the late 80s, early 90s, and like it had just started rotting, like the Ninja Turtles costumes that you see on the internet.
What's that Freddy gang?
Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably would have been like the leader in that game. That rabbit.
Been the DLC.
Scary rabbit. Scary rabbit. So, well, for a little behind the scenes stuff, we did not record last week because we are shifting everything around. There's too much going on here. It's just been a week and a half. Ed and I just messaging back and forth. I'm talking to Celeste about other things. I'm talking to the group chat, which has expanded. We didn't record last week because we moved the show live recording to Mondays, and the show will now go up on Wednesdays on podcast feed. So everybody who doesn't get a show on Tuesday, and you're like, where's it at? That's why. So, because we are launching our PlayStation show this week. And that is, people asked for it, so I guess we're doing it. And found a bunch of people that wanted to do it, so we were like, sure, you do that. I'm just going to sit here and play some Switch while you guys are recording. So, yeah, just to add to the housekeeping, Crossroads PlayStation Podcast will be launching on podcast services this Thursday. It's live right here on twitch.tv/BossRushGames on Tuesday nights, featuring LaRon, Logan, and Brody Foltz from the Diggity Podcasts, and, of course, Nelly. So, should be a good time.
Yes.
Should be a good show. A lot of personality there.
I cannot wait to watch the pilot episode.
I can't wait to sit here for 45 minutes and watch them argue who's going to host the show, because there's so much personality in that show. No, I think they figured it out. They had a group meeting last night. I don't know how it went because we were doing Arsenal X, but we'll see how it goes. I'm excited. By the way, Logan is doing some killer animation stuff for us. We're actually going to look like a real YouTube channel. It's just like, it's going to be...
We're a real YouTube channel.
Yeah. We put on our big boy animations, not our pre-rendered iMovie ones, and work some trickery. Anyways, this is Nintendo Pow Block, Boss Rush Games Nintendo podcast. Every week, Celeste, Edward, and I, as well as our friends from around the internet, come together right here on twitch.tv/Boss Rush Games Live to talk about the latest news, rumors, releases, and your questions in the world of Nintendo. If you can't join us live, no big deal. You can head on over to youtube.com/Boss Rush Games and podcast services everywhere. Just search for Nintendo Pow Block. You can also find our family of shows by searching for Boss Rush Games. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you consume our show, and check out all of our content on bossrushgames.com. It's time for Nintendo Snacks. Who wants to go first? Who's eating good snacks?
Dan's going to go first because he's our guest and we're going to put him on the spot.
Yes.
That's fair.
Oh, man.
Guest always goes
I
first.
really don't have anything exciting to report.
What are you
my
drinking
girlfriend
there?
makes a mean key lime pie. That's pretty good. I got a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Oh, that's a snack for...
Yeah. But aside
somewhere.
from that, no, I really don't have much interesting in that department.
Tell me about this. Tell me about this key lime pie.
Yeah.
This segment is more for these two here.
I've listened and I
lying.
can tell. I don't know how to describe it. It's just a regular key lime pie with a nice crust.
Is it homemade, or is it like brought from a grocery store? Or...
Homemade. She makes it.
Oh. Ooh. Is she open to sharing the recipe?
Probably. I mean,
I don't know if she was a baker or something and it's a trade secret.
I don't know. I don't pay attention. I enjoy the good parts of it. So.
Well, I didn't want her to say I can't share it because that's how I make my living.
Well, Dan, do you have any go-to snacks? Like, if you go to a store and sometimes you be like, "Oh, I gotta leave the store with like a bag of Twizzlers or anything."
He told you Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
I'm pretty boring, man. It's chips and salsa. That's probably my number one.
That's good.
I like a good chip and salsa.
Yeah.
Now, are you like a regular chip guy? Are you like I need a hint of lime or avocado chips? Like,
No. I go all natural.
Okay.
I'm there to taste the salsa, not the chip.
That's fair. You know what? That's good.
Is it like Tostito brand or just like any kind of brand?
Any kind of brand, whatever's there. Whatever the biggest bag is, I guess.
Well, do you like cold salsa, hot salsa, any salsa?
Medium or hot? Not the mild.
Yeah, I go medium.
Yeah.
I like a good hot salsa. I need my mouth to burn, and like I can melt some metal with my mouth when I'm done. That's what I need.
I want to clear my sinuses.
Yeah. I don't want to sign a waiver, but I do want it hot.
Yeah.
I can't touch hot.
Man, I'm hungry now.
Tell you what. Speaking of food, my wife made dinner and she put a little bit of seasoning on some chicken, but also surprised me with some corn on the cob tonight. Let me tell you, you just lather a little bit of butter on there with some seasoning salt, and I'd be like, I'm like one of them stupid cartoons where it's just like a typewriter going across.
Oh,
It's gone.
You do seasoning salt on it?
Yeah.
I know they just do the butter.
Well, I used to do salt and pepper on it, but then like Lowry seasoning salt changed my life about 5 years ago when I was working at the restaurant still, and like we used Lowry's for everything. I'm like, okay, this is good on fries, but what does it taste like on the rest of this stuff? And it just changed my life.
My mom, when she cooks it, she'll put the seasoning salt on it to cook it, and then we just add the butter after it. Because I think she was just like, it gets too much if you just throw it on after it's cooked.
Yeah. Well, it's fair, I guess. Anybody else got any interesting snacktoids?
Yes, so I went out of town and came back with some snacks. I actually went to a beef jerky outlet and came back with some gummy bears. Some
You
they
went
didn't
to a
have
beef
any
jerky outlet and brought home gummy bears.
Are they gummy bear beef jerky pieces?
So they actually, it's a particular brand, and I'll post it later because I forgot to bring it in the house. They have beef jerky on the wall, but they sell other stuff with it. So because I got Korean barbecue beef jerky.
So good. Oh.
And they have two different bags. So their red ones are for the tender beef jerky. Their black bags are for the hard, like real kind of beef jerky. And so I was just like, I need the tender one. So I can't wait to try the Korean. But they had, those kind of fruit ones. They're like fruit jellies. They had a bag of those. They also had, surprisingly, and I was going to get it, chocolate dip insects.
Ew.
So you will actually be able. They were like $3, and what happens is that if you buy it, it gets donated to a charity, for it.
Oh, that's a good incentive.
So they had worms, and I was just like, I should do it, but I'm not going to.
Next time you're there, you should do it and just film it and throw it up on our YouTube page. That way, like, we get 6 billion views and become super rich off of you eating chocolate bugs.
Yeah, I will.
You should live stream it too. Just Twitch IRL. Just eat some bugs. Just do it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I probably will. But yeah.
I will not reimburse you.
Were you gonna plan to reimburse me?
No.
But yeah, I had that. I had some fried rice. And this fried rice was just like from a high-end Japanese place, and man, it was so good. Actually, had like mushroom soup from also, was just like, it was so amazing. By the time I even got to the meal to eat like my shrimp, my egg yolk, and all of this other stuff, I was almost about to pass out the chair, like, because it was literally so good. That Japanese was just so good. I came back with a full belly, and I was just like, ooh, this 2-hour drive home was going to be a wreck. I had to let my stomach settle. But yeah, it was really, really good. And thank God for Rockstar Fruit Punch, because that kept me up for my drive. I love Rockstar Fruit Punch. It's just so good, and only certain stores around here now carry it. So, but that's my Nintendo snacks that I had, or my snack tender, I should say. That's the kind of stuff that I had right now.
We had a discussion at work the other day about Fruit Punch, and I think that's like the biggest lie in the entire world, that anybody likes Fruit Punch, because Fruit Punch is just the worst drink of all time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Fruit Punch sucks.
Oh. No, yes, depends on but it actually depends on which brand that you're drinking. Because I grew up making Kool-Aid, and Fruit Punch was our staple.
No, there's only one way to drink Fruit Punch, and that's to open it and then pour it down the sink.
You are but I'm gonna throw
man. We're about to see a fight on Twitch.
Right. Because, like,
Wouldn't be the worst thing we've ever fought about.
there's a brand called Knee High. They make grapefruit punch. And it kind of just depends on who makes fruit punch for you. Because, like, I used to drink a lot of Hawaiian punch until they took out the sugar, so they reduced it. Even Capri Sun, they had some really good fruit punch. But now it's just like, it just really depends on who you get that makes some bomb fruit punch.
No.
I'm going to make a bold statement and say there's no bad fruit punch out there.
Oh, geez.
It's all good.
Well,
I don't know if I like this guy. It's just, this might be his last appearance on this show.
you know what? I'm gonna order you some candy, Corey. It's gonna be full of peanut butter.
Please don't.
All these flavors, Corey, and you chose
Please don't.
salty.
Please don't. Please don't send me anything peanut butter. Unless it's
that's his kryptonite.
unless it's honey peanut butter, I'll eat it. But just
do they make that?
Yeah, it's the only peanut butter I'll eat.
I've never seen it at all.
Well, you're
You ever
missing
tried
out, Ed.
Cookie butter?
What?
Oh, what you say?
Cookie butter?
That's good. The
It's
what
so
is it?
good.
It starts with an S. It's like spoot.
I've tried one at Sprouts. I don't know if you guys have that grocery store near you guys.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, they make like it's peanut butter, but it tastes like cookies. It's amazing.
Yes. What's that? There's
I like
one.
cookies.
It's like Biscoff, and it's delicious.
Yeah,
Biscoff.
it's so good.
Speculous. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. Cookie butter.
You know what? I think from what I know of that entire word you just tried to say, it sounds spot on.
Thank you. Thank you.
But Celeste, have you been having any snacks?
Well, I committed treason a few weeks
boy.
ago. I live in southern Louisiana, and Dan can probably attest to what kind of food we have over here because he's been to New Orleans a bunch of times. It's usually very spicy, very Creole, very Cajun, and I love Tony Chachere's seasoning. And I went to the store for Old Bay so I could compare them.
How'd it go?
I prefer Tony Chachere's. Old Bay is okay. That rhymed unintentionally, but it is. I could definitely taste the bay leaf in it. It's not as salty, which is probably a good thing for my heart.
You're saying Old Bay isn't as salty?
Yeah, Tony Chachere's
Wow.
is like double the salt because I was reading the nutrition labels to compare them to see what the differences are, and yeah, Old Bay was a little bland. It's okay. It's flavorful. It's just
Doesn't sound okay, Celeste. Sounds like you're having a real hard time
I'm trying to
convincing
be
yourself.
nice to my northern friends.
Is it like is this like like sandwiches, fries?
It's you can put it on eggs. You can put it on seafood. You can put it.
So
on,
it's actually seasoned.
like it's a powder. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I live in the land of Old Bay up here in like Maryland, DC area, and it's mostly on seafood. You'll find it on seafood, and then when they put it on other things like fries and stuff, it just isn't as good. But
now, Dan, have you had boiled seafood down here before?
yes,
Okay. Is it different compared to how they make it where you are?
yeah, I couldn't tell you what's different about it, but it's like way different in the South.
Do you have a preference? And you will not hurt my feelings if you're honest.
I prefer I love the food in Louisiana. It's so good, like that spicy Creole food. I'd have a heart attack if I lived there, but when I go and visit, it's like all I can eat.
We don't eat like that every day. I promise. I promise.
The level of gumbo, how would you base it? Like Louisiana gumbo versus outside.
Oh, Louisiana's the best. Once you have it there, you can't eat it anywhere else.
And he has relatives, so he has the benefit of having homemade food.
The restaurants are great.
Because like my mom, when she cooks it, she makes definitely the okra, the rice, the chicken, the shrimp and stuff like that. And she used certain seasonings, but I don't know if Louisiana have a certain particular season for their gumbo.
I'm not a snob about Louisiana food because a lot of people from outside the state put tomatoes in it, and people are quick to vilify them for that. But if you like the way it tastes, I don't care what you put in your food.
You know what? I never thought that tomato would be in gumbo.
It's not supposed to be, but some people like to put it in there from like out of state. But if you enjoy it that way and it makes you happy, you're still gonna get your level of cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. So I don't care.
All I'm gonna say is, if I could take 5 bites and be ready for bed for a good nap, your gumbo has succeeded. If I can eat your whole bowl and I'm not tired, we need to talk.
Yeah, then it's just soup.
Pretty much.
Well, I will send you guys a picture of a recipe from a down the bayou cookbook, Cajun cookbooks, and I will send you guys the gumbo recipe if you want to make it.
I absolutely will.
I'm still ready for Granny Roberts. She could make.
Oh yeah, you're gonna kidnap my grandma.
Yeah. I tease Celeste, Dan, about like if I visit Louisiana, that I was gonna kidnap her grandma, or I might marry her and be like, "You're coming up to the north." say bye because she knows how to cook. So I'm just like, let me taste this good old cooking.
Wow.
What?
We did our snack portion.
I wish I could kidnap you and Son sometimes, Corey, because when I came to eat, man, y'all two threw down. I was just like, I'm about to, like,
I mean, we did. Here? We did a lot while you were here. I think I ate more that week than I did the last, like, I don't know, too many.
We have more eating to do.
That's fair. I did have a giant burrito for dinner this weekend. That was awesome.
Nice.
That's about, that's it. Look, if I could eat Casa del Rio Express every weekend, I would. And I know on Tower Casuals we talk about Earl's Sandwich every weekend, and I do would eat there every day as well. But this burrito was awesome.
I hope to go to that sandwich place one day and taste their sandwiches.
There's one in Chicago.
Where?
I don't know. I just know I went on their website and there's one in Chicago.
Oh, I'm about to find it and give it a good old try.
You should. You should get the.
Go ahead.
You should get the original. You should get a Hawaiian barbecue, and you should get a BLT. Those are my 3 suggestions. Although, can't really go wrong with any of the choices. The club is very good. The ham is very good, but
I would probably go in there just to be like, I want to try something different, because like I would do the BLT because I don't really eat a lot of that, and me and you talked about that, Corey. But like club sandwiches and ham sandwiches, I've done that so much,
Not
that's
this one.
But I'll have to think about it. Let me meditate.
This conversation is making me want a midnight snack later.
Look, yesterday night I went to Checkers and got me a chicken sandwich.
That sounds like something you would do.
It sounds delicious, but I'm nervous about heartburn.
When we got off of Arsenal X, and when we were, while I was editing, we were talking, and when I got off, I was like, I'm going to be. He's like, I'm going to get a milkshake. I'm like, oh, okay. So,
nice. Sadly, I didn't get a milkshake.
Man. All right, so we're going to actually talk about some Nintendo now.
Poor Daniel. He's like, I came to talk about video games.
Hey, I was having fun talking about Old Bay and all these things. Don't worry about me.
There was an Indie World Showcase last week, and it was very good. I was very pleased with a lot of the things that they showed. Particularly Raji, the Ancient Epic, looked really good. Hades was a nice surprise to see, although I don't really care about roguelikes, but I will play anything that Supergiant puts out. And there's just a bunch of other things like Spiritfarer and Untitled Goose Game getting an update and stuff. So, in general, before I'm sure Ed has a plethora of notes ready about this showcase, but anybody have any favorites that stood out to you? There was a lot of stuff in this. I was quite surprised at how much they packed into this thing.
Well,
Dan, we're going to start with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So during the direct, I feel like with these indie directs, Nintendo never really shows anything that they've talked about before. So that's kind of what makes these things so much fun, because everything is just brand new in these indie directs. So, like we were talking about before, when you go projecting all these things, so I ended up downloading Evergate. Do you guys remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Celeste, the game.
It reminds you the gameplay of Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah, and it's very, very different than Ori. I think just, visually it looks a lot the same of Ori, but it's actually like a very unique game. And I was thinking about it. I was like, how do I explain this? Because it's so unique. Like, you just have to, basically you're a little spirit and you're trying to re-grant your memories to basically find your soul. And there's all these different memories kind of blocking it from an outside spirit. So you kind of go through these worlds where you use different crystals, I guess, and you use them to power yourself through this puzzle platformer type of game. So each level is pretty linear, and it's a puzzle, and there's just like one direct way. But you also have the challenges of like picking up the 3 feathers and breaking all the crystals in the level, or you can do a time trial. So I've had a ton of fun with that because it was just very addicting figuring out the puzzles. I thought the music was great and kind of told the story for the game. So that one was a lot of fun. I just played it too fast and it's over.
Yes, so, you beat it a few days ago, huh?
I haven't played a game that hard in forever. Like, I think I logged 20 hours in like 3 days.
Wow.
I think the last time I played a game that hard was Zelda. Or Fire Emblem, maybe.
Yeah, like when I was stuck inside in the winter or something. Like, but I was just like, I have to play this game. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, it had you coming back because I was wondering how long the game is. Like,
you could probably beat the game without doing the 100% completion in like 10 to 12 hours.
Oh, that's good. That's an average gameplay. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it's it's an indie game. And I've followed the guys on Twitter and stuff, and it just seems like a really cool team. So it's like it feels good to support these people as well too. You know what I mean? And I followed the composer, and he shows clips of like them making the music and their like orchestra theme. So it was cool. It was a good experience.
We talk about indie composers who do stuff for indies on games, and their music is becoming more memorable than some of the big names.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you said earlier, the music kind of tells the story,
right?
In the game, and so when you hear that, you just be like, why? I think a lot of people don't realize that. I think personally, for me, I want more indie soundtracks to come out than some of the first party and third party games.
Right.
Because I'm just like, their music is just like it's on the same level as a big name company. And it's crazy how the world of indie has done that.
Yeah, and I think the coolest part too is like there's just so much passion and caring out of the out of the producers and the developers, and basically anybody that was involved with that music score. I think there was 5 of them. And just watching the videos, it's just so cool.
Yeah, it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it really does.
Yeah, so that was a super fun game, and I also downloaded A Short Hike, I don't know if you guys have played that.
No, but I want to play it. It's on my
looks
list.
it looks like a
3DS
deliberately
game.
designed HD DS game is what it looks like.
I think it was an Apple Games port, maybe. I know it was on some other system or something that
was this one of the Apple Arcade games that they ported over?
It might have been. But yeah, it's a cheeky, fun game. You're just this little bird trying to climb a mountain, and that's it. You could beat it in 20 minutes, or you could beat it in, you could take your time and explore the islands and stuff. And you collect things to move on into different areas.
So you're a bird hiking as opposed to flying.
You glide.
Oh.
Yeah, and you have to collect these golden feathers to make her puff up a little bit, and then you can glide down.
It looks so cute.
Yeah.
It's a really chill game. It was like $4 or something. I went into it expecting nothing, and I was like, "This is actually really fun."
Well, it's so funny because it's called a short hike, but they talk about all the extra stuff you could do in it.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's just like, that just makes the hike a little bit longer. But yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, so it was fun. I mean, it's worth the $4 you pay for it, and it's like just something if it's a secondary game. So if you're burnt out from whatever you're playing, if you're on hour 190 of Xenoblade, you're like, I'll play a short hike and relax a bit.
Don't you have like a bunch of games going on at once too?
I usually do. I always have like a main game that I play and then like a secondary game. So like right now I've been kind of slogged.
What is the main game you're playing right now?
So my main game my main game is Paper Mario right now.
Yes.
Yeah, so I kind of been slowly going through it. Have you guys all played it?
I beat it yesterday.
Yes. I'm still playing it. I just got past the bomb part. A certain section of it, so now I'm like in a desert.
Yeah, I'm actually in the same spot, like right at the yellow streamer.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, geez. Little surprisingly emotional part at the beginning of that chapter, huh?
You know what? Not really. Not really.
No, I miss Bobby.
Ed has no feelings.
Yeah,
I do have feelings.
But yeah, Paper Mario is fun. It's kind of my main game, and then I've switched to like some sort of indie or just something like really laid back. That's like my secondary game. So I actually played Celeste before I played Evergate. And I don't know if you guys have played Celeste, but that game is a blast.
It is on my Xbox One because it was like Games for Gold, and I just haven't started it. But I played something like it's called Lightfall.
Okay.
Yes.
It's almost like Celeste. It's really good.
Yeah, you should play. You should play Lightfall. I went to PAX East 2.5 years ago at this 2 years ago at this point. Yeah, because it was right before my kid was born. So yeah, and I went and actually played Lightfall at their booth, and I was just walking around looking at stuff, and I saw this booth and like nobody was in it, and I kind of when you see that, you like kind of feel bad, and you just kind of wander over, and I'm like, this game's amazing. Why is nobody lined up to play this game? Because like it was games like at the time it was like Below, which hadn't come out yet, and Guacamelee 2, and there was this kind of top-down zombie game for Switch that was sitting there, and it was just everybody was playing those games, and you just see this guy standing there with a laptop and a Steam controller with Lightfall on his laptop. I'm like, I'll check this out. I played it probably for like 20 minutes, and I was like, this is a must buy. And it was in one of the Nintendo Directs.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like Celeste meets Sonic if Sonic was good. Because it's like really fast paced, and it's like if Sonic was a real platformer, this is how you would want Sonic to feel. Mixed with Celeste, and there's actually like a bunch of lore in the game that you get into these special rooms and you hit these tablets and you read about the world and everything. It's awesome. If you haven't checked it out, you should definitely check it out. We did we used to do this show called we used to call it an Indie Showcase, and now we're kind of transitioning into Indie Masterclass. We did a Lightfall episode, and it's awesome. It's so good.
Yeah, it's literally a lot of people after they seen it in the Nintendo Direct, people were buying it, talking about it. So yeah, it's really I have it on my system. I need to play more of it. I'm stuck at this one part, and it's just like and I think it's one of those games that you continue to try, and when you make progress, you really feel good about it.
Yeah, I think Celeste gives you that kind of same sense of satisfaction because it's actually a pretty forgiving game. If you die, you respawn almost in the same spot. But like, you know, it just feels so rewarding, and those types of games are just great.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Lightfall is like so good. Lightfall is so good. Now I just want to play Lightfall again.
But Daniel, any other games?
So I'll probably get something next. I'm not too sure out of that Indie Direct. So Manifold Garden looked kind of cool. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
Yeah, it's like that kind of trippy puzzle looking game.
Yeah, that seemed really cool to me. And Raji looked really good, and Hades looked really good too.
Yeah, I actually
an MC Escher painting.
I actually got Raji, and it's the music is amazing. I only played it for about 15 minutes, but it wasn't really what I expected it to be, but it's actually more of what I wanted it to be. It's kind of a exploration puzzle game with amazing music. The music is amazing.
I've been wanting to get it, but I just didn't even think about it yet because I was just like, is this Prince of Persia meets Metroid ish?
I'm not far enough to give you that information, but it's really neat.
And a lot of people did pick it up after they seen the trailer. I'm just like waiting on it for right now because I got a lot on my plate. But it's a game that I do plan on buying.
You know what it kind of reminds me of, Ed? Actually, it kind of reminds me of the direction that Rhyme went, but like better.
Okay.
It's really cool. I really highly recommend it. It's not even anything close to what I expected it to be in like the best way possible.
It came out with a perfect reception. Everybody, when they showed it, everybody on Twitter was just like, I gotta get Raji. Yeah. It was probably maybe one of the biggest takeaway from the Indie Showcase outside of Hades and some other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the animation looked really cool in Raji.
Yeah.
And like it does like a mix between like I don't know, Ed, you probably remember this. Remember that game Apotheon on PlayStation 4? That was Games with Gold. It was kind of like a Metroidvania game, but the whole art style was like the way you see Greek art on clay pots.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like some of the cutscenes and stuff kind of remind me of that, but with like a Hindu flair to it. And yeah, man, there's some of that, and then there's some like kind of almost like guacamole type animation in it, right? It just there's so many different interesting art styles within the cutscenes themselves that just fit. Yeah, I don't know how they pulled it off. It just kind of fits. All these art styles just fit.
That's the one thing about the Indie Showcase is that what everybody loves about it now, every time they do it, is that they got indie developers around the world showcasing stuff. And even the one that like I think there's a UK one that they do, because I think the last one before this Indie Showcase, there was designers from Africa making the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I love that they're actually showing developers around the world making indie games and putting it on Switch that everybody's willing to try. And if they love it, they would double dip if it gets physical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, because like Grease, I love Grease.
Yeah.
Like, and that was a game that came out of nowhere because I think it's French.
Yeah,
I think.
it is.
Man, side note, when I went to go see Larry Corey, he has the big art book.
Oh yeah.
That they did.
It's on sale on Amazon like all the time.
Oh wow, I didn't know. It's gorgeous. Opening that, we looked at the whole book, and I'm like, I was just like, stuff that they didn't use in the game, it will blow your mind.
Yeah,
like,
it's on sale for $33 right now.
Oh, I might have to buy it. Yeah, that thing, that book was gorgeous because that game was gorgeous, and it was just something that they dropped and nobody didn't know.
Yeah,
so.
I took probably 1,000 screenshots in Gree. It was so good.
Yeah.
But Celeste.
Yes. I have a notebook full.
Oh,
no, not this, just a few written down. But
strap in, everybody. This is gonna be a good one.
No, I'm not a conversation hog, I promise. I am super interested in Raji, and the animation reminded me of a book I loved when I was in elementary school called One Grain of Rice. Do you guys remember that book?
I heard of it, but didn't get to read it.
If you look it up, it looks very similar to the art style for Raji. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful Indian tale. And I love seeing more female leads in video games. I know they're becoming more prolific, but it always is really cool, especially across different cultures. I absolutely love mythology. I love folk tales, fairy tales. So I'm very eager to see this adventure. I'm interested in Hades because I love Greek mythology. And did it remind you a little bit of Samurai Jack in some ways? Did you guys get those vibes? That cartoon show? Samurai
Yes.
Jack?
I don't know anything about Samurai Jack, so I don't know.
I wish I need to buy that game because it came out. I know Hades was, when they first showed it, it was an Epic exclusive. So everybody was just waiting to see if it was going to come to any other platform. Because the animation that they showed, like the intro for it before they showed the game, that was all new. Like that, they didn't show that when Hades got announced. So
yeah, it looks really cool, and I'm interested in Spiritfarer because it reminds me of Studio Ghibli.
Yes. Now this is a weird one because they first showed it at Xbox at E3 2018. So I thought it was dropping for Xbox first before it went anywhere else.
Well,
but
it's
it
on
dropped
Game Pass.
Well, yeah, but it dropped on. It came out for everything after they showcased it live and said it was coming later for Nintendo.
It looks really pretty, and there's a cat in it. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need.
Everybody seems to like the cat in that game, by the way.
And the animation looked like it got better. It was different. Like they put in more production. Because like Celeste, if you check out the original trailer from the Xbox live showcase for E3, you'll see where it started out as than what it became in actuality, because it looks completely different than here. So that's why I was saying it was weird that Nintendo announced it, because they did say it was coming out for everything, but I thought it was going to release on Xbox first, and then it would come to Nintendo on PlayStation and PC later.
I didn't know that. I didn't think about that. Thank you for bringing that up. A Garden Story and
yes,
Garden Story looked great.
What are you, bored of Animal Crossing? You got to play another.
No. Actually, Kim Chica, who is the community manager for Rose City Games, she was on our women's panel, and she was on the Indie Showcase. If you guys remember,
I know. I was so proud of her. Like that was cool.
I was like, when you mentioned this, Celeste, I was just like, yes.
Yes, I was so excited to see her in action. You play as a little grape.
Yeah, it's on my list to buy. It's on my list to get.
And Card Shark looks really cool. That like Romani Gypsy style of music and animation. I know like 2 card games, and Dan and I have talked about what is the game that just came out in June, Dan? For with all the different games.
Oh, Clubhouse games.
Clubhouse games, yes. We were talking about the different games we play, and that has taught me new card games because in real life I know BS and Go Fish. So, this looks really intriguing. It sounds like you can learn different parlor games and tricks. It takes place in the 1700s. And I'm wondering if you can get into duels with people if you try to trick them. That looks kind of fun. Are you going to fight somebody over some money lost in a card game? I don't know. People have died for less, so I don't know what's going to happen.
I liked the guy on that, too. He seemed like, he's been through some shit in card games. I was like, this guy.
Some things.
Yeah, this guy knows where he's coming from making this game.
Maybe he's been watching some Hamilton. I don't know.
Who knows?
That was. Those are the games that really caught my attention. I'm sure I'll see more. And now with digital games, it can feel almost overwhelming. I'm thankful for all the options, but at the same time, when I pop into that eShop on my Switch, I have to kind of take a breath. What do I want? I want everything.
It's so just full all the time. That eShop just sometimes 2 or 3 times a day they update the store with new games. And it's like, where did this come from? I was just I get home from work, I'm checking the eShop while I'm relaxing or whatever before dinner. After dinner, we're getting ready to watch a TV, and I pull out my Switch. There's 5 new games there already. I'm like, what is happening?
You just be like, this wasn't here an hour ago.
Yeah.
What about Corey and Ed? Are there some games? I know we kind of talked about similar ones.
Okay, so I am interested into Inmost. I know they've been showing more of that, but it looks pretty good. The Red Lantern is the one with the wolves and stuff. That was another one show, that Microsoft show. But it's coming to Switch, so I can't wait to see more of that. Struggling look weird, but I kind of turned around, and I think I'm going to get Bear and Breakfast.
Yes!
Yeah, that game looks interesting.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I almost forgot.
The animation it's got me, and I'm like, I love this.
Well, you know what's funny, Ed? You brought up Red Lantern and Bear and Is it Bear and Breakfast?
Bear and Breakfast, yes.
I pulled up Red Lantern, and there's this ferocious grizzly bear you're having to fight, but I think Bear and Breakfast has a completely different tone.
Yes. Garden Story, yes, I want that. Manifold Garden, I'm waiting for. And the reason why I'm waiting for it, because I think that's going to get physical, and I'm like, I want to see the box art, because I want it. If it touchdowns on physical, I'm buying this game physical.
It's probably gonna have some kind of cool metallic case that's real trippy and reversible, and I don't know. You'll probably have to Rubik's Cube it to get it open, but yeah.
Yes. I am going to get Evergate. Like I said, Hypnospace Outlaw, I wasn't into, but I like the fact Nintendo was just they're allowing keyboard support for this game, mouse and keyboard. Takashi and Hiroshi, I've been hearing a lot of good things.
That's the stop motion one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That one looks
really
cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm a sucker for stop motion anything. So.
Same here.
It reminds me of A Year Without a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Torchlight 3 is a must-have. Untitled Goose Game. Really good. Yeah. Untitled Goose Game with the co-op.
I don't understand Untitled Goose Game at all. I played it. I downloaded it off Game Pass and I played it for a half hour. I'm like, I don't understand why people like this game. This goose is stupid. I just deleted it.
I haven't played it yet, but my godson came over and I let him play it, and his favorite thing to do is let it honk. This incessant honking.
That game is amazing. You're a goose that ruins everybody's day. How do you not get it?
Corey, have you ever wanted to ruin someone's day? Now you can without consequences in real life.
Yes, I dream of ruining everybody's day when I wake up in the morning. That's what I live for. If I can't ruin someone's day, I don't even know why I woke up that day.
She dreams of Elsewhere. It's like this Earthbound RPG punk. Like I love the color to it, and I'm like, ooh, I'm interested. And it's on my list to get. Unrail. Now this is the railroad kind of game. I love trains. I am a fanatic about trains. I've been ever since I've been a kid. My mom took me to a train museum, and I feel like I wanted to live there as a kid. It's here somewhere in Illinois. It's like a 4-hour drive, and I think I'm going to. I just found out that a demo is live on it, so I'm going to get the demo and try it out. I was getting nervous because I was just like, I don't know if this game is for me, but I'm willing to play something like this. It looks super fun for me. You guys mentioned Raji. I'm going to get that. Like I said, I pretty much I told Celeste, like everything on here, I pretty much want. Struggling is weird because it's like this gross physic weird game, and it's just like body parts and like moving this glob animal human thing around. I'm like, I will wait for that. Going to I haven't played the first one yet. Subnautica I really didn't care for. It just didn't do nothing for me with that. I know it's on PlayStation and other stuff, but it just didn't do nothing for me. Card Shark looks interesting. I love the animation style, and it'll probably be something that I will wait a sale for. And it's not a knock against that game. I think I'm just not in the right mindset and mood for it just yet. But like overall, this whole thing I love. A Short Hike I am gonna pick up. Thank you, Daniel, for talking about it. Because this sounds like it's a recommendation, and I will get it. I think I was just waiting for a lot of people to talk more about it to see if I should jump into it. Because a lot of these indie games I don't want to buy and let them sit. I want to buy them, play them, and talk about them like literally nerd out. Because this whole presentation is so strong, filled with games. And I'm just like, I want that, let me buy that. And Nintendo don't have like where you could put stuff in a cart and just buy it all at once. Because I would love to do that. Update your eShop, Nintendo. Let's get on it. I could do it for PlayStation and Microsoft. I want to do it for Switch. I want to put a whole bunch of indie games in here, support these developers and publishers, and just buy it all right out and just let them download on my Switch. So, but yeah, I those are on my list, like I said, and hopefully Limited Run, Super Rare, Nicholas. Hopefully some of these games get a physical, and I will double dip. I will pay $20 or $40 for this, especially if Raji gets like a physical with a soundtrack. I'm on it, like a collector's edition. I definitely would buy it.
I gotta tell you, dude. Like you go on YouTube and look up Raji's soundtrack. It's amazing.
And Daniel, I feel like every game is going to get a physical. The moment it gets a physical, folks are going to spend money on getting it. And if it's a collector's edition, that's going to sell out.
If that game gets a physical edition, I'll double dip. Like yeah. I really liked. I thought it was that good.
A lot of these, and I think that's the power of the Switch and these indies. A lot of people were just like, it's a guaranteed double dip. If the game is good that people love and they do a physical version, they're going to double dip, because it's not about being a collector. It's about having this game in your library.
Yeah.
And if it helps keep the developer up and running so they can produce more content, of course. I double dip on Shovel Knight so many times. And with the amiibo.
Haven't we all? How many times have I bought Shovel Knight? I have. I've bought it on every single console digitally. Like I have it on Xbox One, PS4, Switch, Wii U, 3DS, all digital. I have the physical copies of Shovel Knight on Switch and Wii U. So
I have it on Switch, Wii U, and on 3DS for physical. I do want to play the God of War one and the Battletoads. Is it Battletoads for Xbox?
yeah.
Yeah. I do want to do that. But yeah, like people will buy this, and it's that's how powerful indies are. So when Switch first came out and said that Nintendo won't have the games, I don't know what they've been thinking, because it's about probably already up to 700 plus some games on the system, and this
probably more
coming.
I think I read somewhere, I don't know if you guys can confirm this or not, but I read that it's like very expensive to make the cartridges for Nintendo Switch. So indie games typically have to sell like so much of it before they can start moving into this physical edition. Yeah. And it kind of makes sense because the only ones I've really seen are, Shovel Knight, Undertale.
The big ones. So.
I think, it's almost like a catch-22. Like you have to have that, the sales before the big thing.
And the thing about it is just that you will see that happening because the indie developers would come out and you check Nintendo Live for Game Informer, and it was just like, our biggest sale of this game is on Switch. And then a year passed and they make whatever deal that they make is getting a physical version. And bam, you like limited run games, they wouldn't still be around if they weren't doing Switch stuff, because they sell out first before even PlayStation does. And that's crazy. And people will pay the $40. Nobody's complaining about the price anymore. If you if you deliver good quality, not only with the game, but with stickers and Bandcamp download or whatever for the soundtrack, if you deliver all on that, you're going to have people buy out the thing. And you're not, unless they're reselling it. I haven't seen any resales. Everybody just like, yep, all those copies are gone. And if they still have some left, people are going to go ahead and snag it. Like, it's that crazy. Even we were talking about Kamiko, how people were trying to get turning their switches to the eShop, Japanese eShop, so they could get Kamiko before it came out here. And it's just like, that stuff, when it comes to indies in the eShop, and definitely with this indie direct and showcase and stuff, it really just shows that people are willing to upfront the money to have the stuff on their system, and they're willing to double dip if you deliver a great product. They will double dip on it again in the fiscal.
Yeah. Man, indies, man. There's so many good ones.
Now, can someone give me my Just Shapes and Beats physical so I can have it?
Nobody's giving you Just Shapes and Beats physically.
No!
Sorry, the soundtrack, I feel like, is probably
the reason.
Yeah. So, man, this whole indie showcase was it was probably one of the ones I was more interested in. I'm not really a huge indie guy. I wish I was into more indies. I just, for whatever reason, I'm just not into a lot of them. But this one actually had a ton of games that I really want to play. So, I mean, Bear and Breakfast looks great. Evergate, I want to play really bad. And then, obviously, Raji, I downloaded instantly. So, they're there. They're there. But we're gonna.
It was a beautiful showcase. That's all I just wanted to say.
Yeah, that was probably the best indie direct, and I'm one of the people who really enjoy indie games too. And that one beginning to end was real solid, including the Goose game.
Including the Goose game. Man.
You may proceed, Corey.
Yeah.
You may segue.
Yeah. Speaking of the Goose game, we have a few questions we're going to answer. I think one of them's cheating, though, because one of them is from my fellow staff member. But that's okay, Megan. We'll answer it. Our first question comes from... Question Block. It's called the Question Block, everybody. Man, it's been so long since we've done questions.
Yeah.
We have questions for the Question Block. If you would like your question answered on the Question Block, you can email us at nintendopowblock@gmail.com or tweet at us at Powblock Podcast. We'd really appreciate your questions. Samantha Cross writes in. She says, what are a few great indie titles on the Switch? I know there are a lot, but I really want to nail down some better ones. Since I don't have that many, I'm going to start because there are quite a few games that I feel like on the Switch, they really work. So, first one, Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark. It is a tactical RPG in the vein of Tactics Ogre and Final Fantasy Tactics, and it's the art style is kind of like hit or miss for me. It took me a while to kind of get used to the art style, although I'm kind of liking it now that I'm kind of invested. It's really good. If you want a good tactical RPG, this is it is the Final Fantasy Tactics game everybody's been waiting for. They just came out with a $12 expansion. I think it's called Magic and Monsters, where they add a whole bunch of new monsters you can fight. They're kind of like big boss battle type things. You can play it for 20 hours. You can play it for hundreds of hours. There's so many like side things you can do, min-maxing your characters and finding just all kinds of cool upgrades and stuff. It's such a fabulous tactical RPG. That is...
What was the name of that game again?
It's called Fell Seal, Fellseal. It's so good. It came out last year. It came out on PlayStation first, actually, and then it moved to Switch. It's really, really good. The music's really good, too, if you're into the music. So Crosscode is another one.
Yes.
Is what I've heavily been invested in. It's in the running for my game of the year. It's kind of a top-down 16-ish, 32-bit Zelda-esque RPG. More on the RPG side than a Zelda side, but... yeah, Crosscode is definitely one you should play. Let's see. I gotta pull up my Switch list to find them. Obviously,
I'm gonna go last on this question.
Yeah, Axiom Verge. Axiom Verge 2 is coming out, but Axiom Verge, if you like Metroid games, definitely one to look at. Lightfall,
which I'm assuming that one might be in the Nintendo Direct, because I thought.
Yeah. I feel like they'll probably give some sort of release date then.
Yeah.
Lightfall, which we already talked about. Iconoclast, I know is probably on Ed's list. Another
Yes!
Metroid style game. Iconoclast is really good. The art style is really just
I can't wait for people to play that game.
Out of this world. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove is my favorite indie game of all time, so definitely check that out. Snipper Clips, if you want two-player co-op. Technically not an indie game since it's published by Nintendo, but it feels like one, and it's just a cute little disaster waiting to happen. The Messenger is... The Messenger is like there's a big twist. I don't really want to ruin it if nobody knows what it is in the middle, but it starts out as kind of an 8-bit Ninja Gaiden game and moves into something totally different in the middle. And then, of course, one of the best platformers of all time, N++.
I need physical. I'm still waiting for physical. I need that to happen.
I wish they would fix the buttons on the Switch version, because it's all backwards and just really messing me up. Just makes me mad. Can we just have the B button be the jump button, please?
Yes!
Can we just have like the option? It's nice that they now, like, the Switch has the button mapping on it, so and you can save kind of the profiles, right? And I don't want to have to do that though. I just let B be the jump button. It's not. I don't think it's that difficult. Nintendo's already backwards compared to what everybody's used to, even though I would say Nintendo is actually right and everybody else is backwards, but everybody plays everything else a lot of the time, and now they think Nintendo's backwards because Xbox kind of standardized the A button at the bottom. Nintendo messed up. Just throwing that out there. That's my list. Somebody else could go now because
I'm going. Like I said, I'm going to go last because Samantha Cross. She's going to probably have to like rewind this whole thing. For like 5
I hope
times.
you have like $3,000 for Ed's list. So that's a lot of indie games, though.
How about you, Dan?
All right. So I think Golf Story is a good one. Have any of you guys played that?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
Yeah, Golf
good.
Story is pretty fun. It's like a cheeky RPG with golf thrown in the mix. It's really funny. Like the writing is great. It made me laugh almost through the whole thing.
Everybody's waiting for a sports story. That looks so
Yeah, I am waiting for Sports Story. Did you see their delay message?
Yeah, I did.
Well, they did this like little video one with all their characters, and it was a really cool way to just announce a delay. So check out like the Sports Story Twitter page. If there's a way to delay a game, that's a way to do it because it was fun. One of the lesser known ones that I really liked is a game called Kunai.
Yes, I have that.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
What'd you think of that?
It's good. I love the art. I love the artwork, the contrast of the colors. It's a Metroidvania kind of ninja style game, but it's funny as ever. But it's good.
It's so good, and like the controls are so good and tight.
Yes.
And like,
what's this called?
It's called
Kunai.
Kunai.
How do you spell that?
Kunai.
Yeah, it's like you're a little iPad. And
My God.
Yeah, and
Yes.
the art
Looking it
style
up.
is cool. The game itself is just great.
Because it's like what, $6 or $7 when it came out. It was like really cheap.
Yeah, it was, and it was like. This is kind of unfortunate for the game, but some guy on the internet just decided he was gonna like review bomb just a random game, and it happened to be Kunai. So Kunai ended up getting like a ton of bad reviews out of the gate, just because this one guy wanted a review bomb with like a bunch of people. So that was a bit of a bummer. But yeah, the game is super fun. And, like we were talking about, Celeste is a great game. And then another one I'd recommend is Wargroove. Have you guys heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have it. Yes.
Yeah, Wargroove is really cool. It's a tactical style RPG. You have your heroes who have different kind of.
It's in the realm of Advance Wars.
Yeah, it's a lot like Advance War games. It's really fun. The music's really good. Again, like I think that's a common thing we keep talking about in these indie conversations is that the music is just always so solid. But yeah, those I'll stick with those.
Wargroove, can you play as a dog?
Yeah, you can play as a dog. His name is Caesar.
Oh my lord!
If you want a tactical game that you can also play as a dog, Valkyria Chronicles 4 also has a dog.
It's still on my list that I need to buy.
Okay, can the dog die?
No.
Well, you would
Caesar?
lose the game. Just don't let him die.
Yeah, just give him a nice pet and say good boy.
He's so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna close this because this dog is so cute.
Just buy the game and you can look at it all the time.
Yeah, now you have to buy it. You can go through Caesar's path.
I want someone to paint me a regal portrait of this puppy so I can hang it in my house because it is so cute.
Yeah. Celeste?
So I am fairly new to indie games, so my list will be kind of short. I've played some walking simulators on PlayStation and Xbox, but they are also available on Nintendo Switch, like What Remains of Edith Finch, Firewatch. I believe Gone Home is on Switch as well.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was Dear Esther? Might be on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Dear Esther and Firewatch are the ones I need to pick up.
Yes. So we can do our book clubs special with
Yes.
walking simulators. So the one specifically on Switch that I've played most recently today, I actually picked up We Should Talk, and that is produced by Whitethorn Games. BUTV was on our women's panel, and she's the community manager for Whitethorn Games.
Okay, let's play that game together because We Should Talk.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll talk about it.
We should talk about We Should Talk.
Yes. Yes.
So it's I played one round today before our podcast recording, and it's really cool because you can customize your sentences, pretty much 3 or 4 different parts of your sentences, and that can affect the endings, the outcomes. So I've just done one scenario, and I decided to be nice. So I don't. Are you guys like this? I don't like being mean in video games.
You know what? I Mass Effect is going to be my example because when I first do a playthrough, I'll go good. But when I do a replay through everything, I'm evil as ever. Like I'm kicking everybody. I'm letting folks die. I don't give a care. Like I try to get my thing read as always. Infamous 2 or even Infamous, they kind of had that same thing. I was just like, let me stay good for the first playthrough and then go evil secondly. I haven't started a game where I play evil, but Coffee Talk I am. Not Coffee Talk. I'm sorry. We Should Talk I am.
Kind of staying on the trend of indie games, Undertale is a game where you can kind of choose to be evil or, kind as well. So,
do you have a preference, Dan?
For Undertale, I went with evil.
Oh.
Went around fighting everybody because I didn't know.
Okay.
Time.
No, you were just having a bad day and wanted to take it out on these poor innocents.
Yeah, no. Oh, they're not poor and innocent, but
But Ed actually said the next one, Coffee Talk. It's a visual novel. It has the best soundtrack if you just want to chill out. Like I pull it up while I'm working sometimes, and it has a Claire de Lune remix. If you guys are familiar with that classic song. Very popular in Twilight. Yes, I'm a fan of the Twilight series, but that's not where I first heard Claire de Lune.
Celeste, is it bad I got a crush on Gala?
Ooh, no.
Yes,
I have a crush. I was Team Edward all the way.
No, I'm talking about from Coffee Talk.
Well,
I like Gala.
Edward is now Batman, so.
Yes, he's a cute guy, and his story. Well, I don't want to spoil anything. It's
I'm working my way through it. I'll just say.
So Samantha, if you want to play a very chill game, but as you play it, it echoes real world problems like veterans care after they return, like PTSD, what they're dealing with. It deals with relationships. It deals with social anxiety, being an author, working on your project. It deals with racism. Of course, the character, there's some unique races in there. I'll leave it at that. Imagine a fantasy world, but set in, I think it's Seattle, right?
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yes, it's very soothing. It's really cool. And you get to make their drinks. So that's really cool.
I named my barista Eddie V, so it's me being the barista serving. Yeah.
I gave it my name too, because I like to do that for those kind of games. And then I played the demo of this, and I'm looking forward to playing the full game of NeoCab. And we've talked about it on here before. You play as the last human driver for a company like Uber/Lyft. And it's another game where your decisions can affect how people rate you as a driver, can affect the ending, I'm assuming. So, yes, it's really cool. So if the full game is anything like the demo, I'm very much looking forward for the ride.
So, is that all to this?
Yes, because I think you're about to pop out of your seat, right? What games you want?
Oh, okay. So everybody grab your ramen bowl and get ready for a good time. So 3000th Duel is kind of like a 2D Souls game. Really easy to get into and learn. It is challenging, but it's not hard. It looks great. It's really fun. You're kind of learning who you are because you kind of lose your memories, and you got these big swords and spears, and you're able to do different attacks with the speed and everything, and it's just a very addictive game. Battleship Brigade is a great one. Blazing Chrome, this is a game from Brazil. It has that 16-bit Contra Genesis vibe for it, so it's really challenging, but it's a fun 2-player game. Blaster Master 0 and 02, Castlevania Blood of Curse of the Moon, Bloodstain is a good one. Box Boy and Box Girl, just a really fun game. Blossom Tale, Cadence of Hyrule, it's a great one. Cat Quest, Chasm, Child of Light, it's a great one. Cosmic Star Heroine, I heard is good. Cuphead is like a must-have indie game that needs to be on your system.
It's so popular you forget it's an indie.
Yes.
It's an indie game?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never played it. I need to.
Super fun.
Yeah. Query Mission Crosscode. Dandara is a really interesting game because it starts an African American hero, female, and it's when you look at it's really appealing. When you play it, it has a little control issues at there, but when you learn it and get into the groove, it's a beautiful, beautiful game. Dead Cells. Good googly moogly. Dead Cells was just like everybody who didn't hear about it but knew it on PC was kind of big to it. The moment they announced that it was coming physical for PlayStation and Switch, pretty much everybody pre-ordered it for Switch. It's kind of a rogue 2D action game where you progress to get stronger, and if you die, you go all the way back, but you still keep your stuff. It randomizes the levels that you go through. So it's a really great game. It's still doing wonders. They're still releasing free content and update. The original creators, they did split off of it and make a new company, so you can read about that if you care for. Let me continue to go down this good old list. Fair Room is a really good one. Flint Hook is a popular one. Gigawork Arts. This is from Game Freak, the people who did Pokemon. They have their own kind of indie style game. It's a Metroid 2D action style game. Really, really good. Oh my great good googly moogie. I love this game. You mentioned Golf Story. Good Job is hilarious.
Oh, Good Job is a good one.
Good Job. Is that the one we played in an office?
Yes.
So it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Oh, it's so fun.
It's so fun. Yeah.
So if I've worked in an office, would I relate to anything I see in this game?
You are trying to do tasks and things are in your way and you literally just destroy stuff. So it's up to you on how you get it. It's funny.
So if I'm having a bad day at work, I'm gonna.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a game you played. You kind of just laugh through the whole thing.
Yes. Graceful Explosion Machine. I cannot say enough great things about this game. It is addictive. It has that action stylized kind of combat gameplay feel where you're this ship and you're going through this level and your mission is to get rid of the enemy so you go to the next stage, and it's an arcadey kind of style point system. So the more you continue to go, the more your score goes up, and you're trying to keep it at a high level, but with connected stuff. Just a great game. I mentioned Greed. Everybody needs to have Greed. Hook. If it wasn't for Corey telling me this game was $2 and I buy it, I'm spending the 4 hours playing this game, messaging Corey like crazy.
It's an amazing game.
That's all he wanted to say.
Hook is like the best $2 puzzler game that you're gonna buy anywhere. That's all I have to say. Hook is so good. It is so good. It's worth every penny.
Yes, it is completely just addictive. Corey probably gonna mute his microphone.
I'm just along for the ride. That's all.
Okay. And bento. This is because of Celeste. I love sushi. I love bento boxes. I never got a chance to make a bento box. This is a puzzle style game that is very relaxing. It deals with cats. Very cute. The the artwork and the animation. I measured Celeste that I had to put my Switch down and just look at it. And she did help.
Cute.
It's super adorable. So it's real worth it. I mentioned Just Shapes and Beats. The music in this game, the Shovel Knight remixes, is bonkers good. It's literally just addictive. I had to put it on the level of Forza Horizon 4 when it comes to music. It's so good. I mentioned Kamiko. Katana Zero is the beautiful game. Really fast paced in action. Later Daters. You play as you're in a old couple home and you are trying to find someone to love and date. And so you can have a polyamorous relationship. You can have a gay relationship. You can have a hetero relationship. You don't have to have a relationship at all. It is literally good. So fun. Lightfall, I mentioned. Luminous, even though that kind of came a little bit later. Minute is good. I haven't played a lot of Nightcall, but Mutant Year Zero is a great game.
Did you just like Google search every single indie game available on the Switch and just trying to?
I kind of have this on. I tell everybody to get their ramen bowl.
We got another question and what we've been playing to get through still.
Okay.
Maybe cut some of it.
Okay. Okay. Quickly. I'm sorry. On the Naki.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep going.
Okay. Murder by Numbers. There's more. And last but not least, Yoko Island Adventure.
Can I throw in two real quick?
Yeah,
Indivisible
go for it.
and Bug Fables.
Oh, Indivisible? Is that what you said?
Indivisible's awesome, yeah. And Bug Fables is the other one.
What's Bug Fables?
Bug Fables is basically Paper Mario.
Paper Mario.
Really?
The original. Yeah.
Oh, how cute.
So if you're craving the original Paper Mario battle system, play Bug Fables and you'll itch that.
Yeah.
You'll scratch that itch.
They released it, a week before Paper Mario?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great timing.
But go ahead, Corey, to the next one. I'm sorry.
All right. You know what, Megan? We're gonna skip your question for now, just because we have been going kind of long. But we're just gonna kind of anybody playing anything interesting, anything fun? Just real quick before we get out of here.
I actually have. So there's I think Avicii. He was that DJ that passed away. They did a game for him. And that's the only one that I'm going to just talk about. I got to play the demo of it, and it's a really fun game. It's a mixture of Guitar Hero with Amplitude mixed in with it, and you can play it with your Pro controller. You can play it with your Joy-Cons and stuff, but it's really good. And what they do was, at parts it'll be like they'll have a beat where it's just like you just hear the music, but you can actually fly the plane that you was controlling, like it's Star Fox. And you go through these rings, and they're part of the beat and everything. And so you're trying to keep the score up, and it's just it teaches you different things that you need, different button combinations that you need to do with this. So they are releasing Ultimate Edition next month, where they'll have all the DLC and all the tracks and everything. So I'm planning on getting. I think it's $30 if you want to get the Ultimate Edition. But it's such a fun game. I played it over the weekend. It's been on the Switch for a while. but it was just like I was wondering what people thought about it because not a lot of people talked about it, and it's a very great game and very great music. It's a lot of his well-known tracks before he passed away. So, and it has I think it has a story mode to it if you're interested in that. So yeah, you guys can check that one out.
Cool. Dan, you played anything?
Yeah, I mean, I like I was saying before, I'm playing Paper Mario. Mario Maker 2 is the game that just never dies for me. I will always pick that up and keep playing and keep making levels. I just love it so much. I'm probably gonna actually download one of these games that you guys recommended on the about the indie games and check out something new. So we'll see what happens with that. And then just to, stay on topic, I wanted to mention this movie I watched. It's called Indie Game, and it follows the developers of, this was made in 2011 or 2012. Mm-hmm. So there was a game called Fez that was,
yeah.
Do you remember Fez?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like a really hyped up game, and it just kind of followed the developers through the process of making this game and what they had to go through to get it out there. So
I seen it. You are in for a ride.
Yeah, it's really good. So that's actually what got me into indie gaming. So check that movie out. I think it was on Netflix recently.
It may still be there because that's where I seen it at.
Yeah, that's where I watched it.
It's on Amazon also.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Because we've been watching High Score on Netflix.
I need to watch that.
I haven't watched it yet. I heard it's great.
Yeah, we watched the Nintendo one. We watched the very first episode, and it just brought back some memories. I mean, I was born in the late 80s, and so some things I don't remember exactly, but gosh, it made me nostalgic for malls, shopping malls. Which are gradually disappearing in some places, or they're just not as populated as they used to be when I was growing up, and it makes me sad.
You could fool me from around here, because like we live like 5 minutes from a mall, and it is packed like every day. Just even still through this Corona crap, it's just like not a parking spot open. It's crazy.
Wow.
But do they have some closed storefronts? Because our mall has like one wing where Sears was, where like all the stores over there have open real estate.
Well, I think the JCPenney part is closed, but there's like a huge Apple store in there. There's all kinds of like fancy things happening in there. Oh, he's got the charger. It looks like the laptop charger. But yeah, our mall is like, it's packed all the time. Plus there's like a lot of, I guess our mall isn't really like a typical mall. There's a lot of like fancy restaurants in there and like, things to, of course there's a Sbarro and a McDonald's in the food court too, but, but there's like a really like high priced pizza place in there called Dewey's Pizza that my wife and I really like, but it's specialty pizza, and each pizza costs like $23 for a pizza. Ooh, but it is
the devil.
Oh no, dude, it is really good pizza. Like if you want garbage, there's a Domino's 2 minutes from my house, right? But if you want really good, just like the best pizza, we get like the barbecue chicken pizza, and we get the Don Corleone, which is just like a bunch of Italian meats on it, and it's just it's so good. Snack.
Yeah, I'm getting a snack after this.
Yeah. So
I ate dinner like at 5:30 my time, so starting to feel a little hungry.
I still got some nachos from Taco Bell, Nacho Grande. I didn't get to go to Wendy's because they was backed up. So,
but yeah, Celeste, what are you playing?
I beat Origami King yesterday, and I will try to. I don't know if I'll 100% it, but I'll try to gather a few more things. And Twilight Princess HD on the Wii U, because I recently found a $9 copy of that game with the Wolf, Link, and Midna amiibo. So I've been enjoying that a lot, because I haven't played it since it was on GameCube. This was like 13, 14 years ago, I I played it all the way through, so it's really cool reliving it. I'm in the forest temple right now with the cute little monkeys.
How's it holding up?
Yes.
What's that?
How's it holding up? Like, I haven't played it since GameCube, but I remember it like actually being my favorite Zelda aside from Breath of the
Wind
Wild
Waker,
right
Yep.
now.
Oh, I like this guy. He can stay.
Yeah, that's Corey. That's my favorite. It's my favorite Zelda. It's still beautiful. It's still fun. I'm using the Wii U gamepad to play with it, or you can use the Pro Controller. The music's still great. I love that Link's backstory is developed a little bit more. He's part of this village in Ordon Village. The only thing is, with older games, instead of the seamless transition between areas, you have a little load time. So
Yeah.
that is not a deal breaker for me. It's just so funny to go from Breath of the Wild, where everything seamlessly flows for the most part, except the, oh my gosh, not dungeons.
The shrines.
Shrines, yes,
Shrines.
thank you. Those, I mean, that's
Which
there's
is funny
some
because the
loading.
dungeons are actually pretty seamless to get into the dungeons, and then the shrines are like you have a 30-second load to get into
No.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yes, it's good. Although I'm gonna have a hot take. Midna is not my favorite side character, not my favorite companion.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well,
I think Tattle is from Majora's Mask.
you're allowed to be wrong. It's okay.
I cleared out the room.
Well, I to be fair, Celeste, like I said, I haven't really gave my all to Majora's Mask, so I cannot agree or disagree.
I love Majora's Mask.
I do too.
Oh.
I
I
wish
just-
they would port the 3DS games to Switch. I don't even care if they look like that. I just want an HD version of the 3DS games on the Switch. Like I don't even care at this point.
I just
I
don't
can't-
have strong opinions on the sidekicks, so
Yeah, I don't either.
You don't have strong-
They're all pretty.
No,
they're all
they're
pretty
all one and
bad.
the same.
I don't hate them or anything. It's just I know a lot of people are obsessed with Midna, and she's cool. It's just Tattle's my favorite.
I like Midna a lot.
I don't dislike Midna. It's just
A lot of
not
people-
my favorite.
A lot of
Maybe
people
we'll
like the boat from Wind
Play
Waker.
through the
'cause-
whole thing, and we'll revisit this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll
But I
see how
will-
you feel about that after.
But I will say, I think Twilight Princess HD is the definitive version. I really like this one over the Wii and GameCube version.
yeah.
It's fun.
They cleaned up a lot of the stuff that people had issues
Mhm.
with too.
And the most important thing, you can pick up the dogs and cats. Okay.
It's true. I know a lot of people have issues with the opening of Twilight Princess. I don't think the opening is bad. Like I don't.
Wow.
It teaches you how to play the game. Look. I mean, if you want a bad opening, you go play Skyward Sword and walk around that floating island for 5 hours, and you're just, oh, geez, hurry up. But I don't think Twilight
But
Princess is that bad.
I think it's important because it helps you develop a relationship and you actually get to care about the characters before things happen.
Yeah,
You know,
plus-
instead
Yeah.
of just, oh, well, by default you have to save these people, but no, these kids look up to Link. He's about 17 and they're, 9, 10, 13, whatever, they're kids, and that's a really cool dynamic. He cares about them and I need to care about them.
Plus, you need to master wrestling that goat for 65 hours later. So,
It's knocked me on my butt every time. So
well,
far.
spoilers, you're going to have a real tough time with that final boss battle.
Oh, it's been over a decade, so I'm looking forward to it.
I'm just kidding.
If they port it to Switch, day one purchase. That's all.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, look, I will get it digitally and physically. Twilight Princess, man, I've talked about this probably several times on this show at this point, but it came out at a time where I was kind of having a rough time, and it just kind of really, everybody has that one game that helps them through rough times, and that game was it. So man, Twilight Princess is a special game.
I tell Corey that the moment they announced it for Switch, if they put it for pre-order that day, I'm leaving the house. I don't care. I'm recording the podcast. I'm gone.
My thing
And
is
I'm like, I'll be back.
just how functional that amiibo is in Breath of the Wild. I
Yes.
am shocked they haven't put it on Switch yet. Like, just for that simple fact alone, that amiibo is so functional with Breath of the Wild. But
Are you guys putting stock into that Skyward Sword thing on the
Please
Friends
do.
Amazon?
Please do.
I'm a
'cause
positive person.
I want Skyward Sword so bad.
I mean, it's the only one that hasn't gotten a proper remake, really, right? The 3D ones, like Ocarina and Majora are on 3DS, they got remade. Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are on Wii U. Like, this is the last one, right? So,
yeah, I'd rather see Twilight Princess, but
me too.
I feel like Skyward Sword deserves a second chance because it does establish the lore and it is fun, except for that dang heart game at the Lumpy Pumpkin that I'm really bad at.
Here's Skyward Sword for me, right? Like, if you're gonna put it on Switch, take the story, which is really fun. I really like Link and Zelda's relationship in that game. Take the story, take the art style, trash everything else. Just remake a whole game around it.
I thought the planets were terrible in Skyward Sword. There was so many useless planets to go on. It was such a waste of time.
Oh, yeah, like the one where you can collect bugs for that dude.
Yeah, but there was planets that didn't even do that. You had to sit there and like flap your wings for 10 minutes to get to the next one. It was like that part was brutal.
If we have to use the Joy-Cons to play this game, I'm out. I'm done. I will wait for somebody to stream it or put it up on YouTube, and I will gladly watch that game in the background while I'm playing something else.
I will give you guys a full review of that with the Joy-Con.
Can't wait for your perfect 10 of Zelda Skyward Sword, Ed.
Look, it was a cool idea, but after a while, you just want a traditional Zelda game where you can sit down.
The thing is, for me, is like Skyward Sword was the game that we needed at the beginning. Like, everybody was so sick and tired of motion controls by the time that game came out that I think that's like part of the reason nobody likes that game is like they think about the motion controls, which I mean, me included, right? Like I was so over. I wasn't. I do not like the Wii. Like, as big of a Nintendo fan as I am, I do not like the Wii. I like Wii Sports. I liked turning the motion controls off in Twilight Princess, even though I was just like, screw it, I'm getting the GameCube version. I played very little on the Wii, and I had it on launch day. Like, you name a Wii game, I probably haven't finished it. So I played about 15 hours of Skyward Sword, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Because, like, I got so frustrated because every couple seconds, like, I would have to recalibrate my Wii remote, and I would have to fight this Skulltula, and it would turn around, and I'm like, I don't want every little tiny enemy to be a puzzle. I just want to go. I want to solve the dungeon puzzles. Like, what I did with the dungeons and stuff, like, the motion controls in the dungeons was cool, but, like, when a giant Skulltula comes flying off the ceiling and just starts swinging back and forth, and you have to get your, like, horizontal swipe just right, and then you hit your drink off the desk and you have to recalibrate your Wii remote just to fight this Skulltula. I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this.
I think for me, it felt so innovative, and it just felt so new to me that I was able to do all of these things. Because I literally was just playing, when I was playing PS3 and all of these other games, I was literally bored doing the same thing over and over. And I was just like, give me something of a challenge and not just moving something on a harder difficulty. Like, make me feel like you really are making something fresh and new, because I'm like, I could pinpoint or connect this game to this game, and Skyward Sword made me feel different in just about everything. It gave me a new idea and perspective of this Zelda universe. You know, it wasn't about just switching, you know, doing stuff with the remote. It was just like this world, these characters flying around. What can I get into? What is something over there that I'm going to experience and stuff? And it just felt fresh to me. And I like that enemy. I cannot think of his name. The purple guy, like
Girahim.
The very flamboyant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Girahim.
He was evil, and I loved him. Like, he just his laughter just made the game so good. I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna get you. Oh, you think you're gonna laugh? I'm gonna tell that tale up, and it just felt so good to play that game.
Ed, someone shared a video with me where there's a theory that Girahim is the evil power behind Majora's Mask.
Ooh.
Ooh.
It's good stuff if you like Zelda theory. Oh, it's good.
But what you were saying, Ed, is like I think that's something Nintendo does really well is they take these IPs and they just make them fresh every time it comes out. And I'm with you. Like, I actually didn't mind the motion controls in Skyward Sword for the most part. Like, when you have to flap around the whole entire thing, that got annoying. But like the sword stuff, I thought that was cool. I thought that was innovative, and I just like that. That's something Nintendo does with all their IPs. Like, Mario's different every time. Zelda's different almost every time. So that's cool. That's what's refreshing.
The praise that Pikmin and Super Mario Galaxy got is the same upset that people got when they played at Metroid Other M and Skyward Sword. And it was always just these different control mechanics. And I know we're about to end. These different control mechanics that some people enjoyed and loved when they nailed it. And then just stuff that they outright was frustrated and angry about, because I still to this day I think Metroid Other M, even though it had its story problems, it's still a fun game. And I'm like, this is the best Team Ninja has ever done. And if you, like, once again, I said, if you think I'm lying, go play Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 on Xbox and see if you can manage those controls and that camera.
Yeah, we could have a whole episode about Zelda, which I'm all in favor.
Celeste, you already know that we're doing the history of Zelda next year.
Oh my God, we are.
Well, it's the 35th anniversary.
Oh,
at some
God.
point, we'll do something.
We're gonna have to do like game by game because
yeah,
if we do a whole episode,
it's gonna be like a 6-hour episode. I might just like go cry myself to sleep.
that one is probably gonna be like in 3 parts because there's
so many.
Because that means we got to talk about the CDI one.
Yeah. I haven't played those. I just know of them.
Nobody needs to know about the Wand of Gamelon. Nobody wants to know what.
But you can play a Zelda on one of them.
It's true. Something Nintendo refuses to do.
This is all I know. It came up for CDI, and that's it. Let's move on. That's discussion.
Speaking of moving on, we're gonna wrap this episode because I still have a couple other things I have to do tonight. So, thank you guys so much for listening to Nintendo Pow Block. We have moved the live shows to Monday nights on Twitch. The show will go up on podcast feeds and YouTube on Wednesdays now. So, sorry, you Tuesday listeners. You can check out Arsenal X on Tuesdays now, so you can check that out. But where was I going with that? I have no idea. It's been a long like 2 weeks. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatBretchGo and check out Option Opinion on SoundCloud and other podcast apps.
Celeste, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Fairy Crypt, and also with another Zelda podcast if you like Zelda. And I don't mean that cute little dog. I mean the video game series Zelda, in case there was any doubt.
I was confused.
Was she talking about Zelda Williams?
No. Yes, we have a whole website dedicated to Zelda Williams.
She said dog, Ed.
Oh.
There's a little dog in Zelda.
Dan, you want to remind everybody where they can find you if they want to follow you? Unless you don't want to, that's fine too. But
you can see me on Twitter at DCDM99.
Cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on. This was awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. That was a great conversation. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
yes, thank you.
Yes.
You have a lot of insight, and thank you for talking about food with us.
You're welcome back anytime you want to talk some Nintendo and indies and
During
stuff.
the whole food segment, Ed and Celeste were just smiling from ear to
I
ear
know.
and so engaged. It was hilarious.
I know. This is how it is every week
Key
now.
lime pie, tell me more. Oh, I need to know everything.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at IamCorianHD. You can find all of our content on BossRushGames.com. Check out our upcoming PlayStation show, going live on Thursdays on podcast feeds. So I'm very excited to share that with the world finally. I think that's it. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you consume the show. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Until next time, we love you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.